everyone, it's Mary with Mary's Stampin' Cafe. Thanks so much for stopping in at my recorded Stampin' Saturday video. Hey, I have a question for you. Where do you get your creativity to create your cards or your projects? For me, I love when I get something, I think about what I'm going to do, what I'm going to include, what pieces, what parts, all those things. But sometimes it's hard. So, if you have not taken a look at Stampin' Up's publications, you're missing out. Because, for example, this annual catalog is filled with so many fabulous, wonderful samples. And when I look at these ideas, Stampin' Up puts them there to spark your creativity. They put those there to say, hey, if you like these, create your own, and feel free to, what we say, case the catalog. So I have to tell you, sometimes I always have this at hand and I get in here and I look for all of these great things, and I just was going to share a couple things with you before I create a casing the catalog. So I have a card here that I recently did in, I think, my Facebook Live, and let me show you. Is it the one right here? Yes, it is. So this particular card on page 23 of the current annual catalog, let me hold it up close for you. There's that beautiful card that's got, oh, so many things die cut. There's a beautiful piece of vellum behind. So I took that card, the layout idea of that card, and this is the card I created. Now it is completely and totally different. What I decided to do is I used on here the Simply Zinnia stamp set and dies, as well as the Flowering Zinnia 3D embossing folder to get that additional layer. Then I simply stamped the flower arrangement, colored it, die cut it out, and I used that idea of having they had vellum back there. I used the beautiful Flowering Zinnia Designer Series paper and even another little strip of it here. But my inspiration came completely from that card on page 23. Absolutely loved it. Now you're wondering about the Simply Zinnia. There's a suite of products for this coming in March, available for customers in the online exclusive store. But there's that idea that I took that from. So let's take a look here as I go through. There's just so many wonderful samples, layouts, and they can be completely different when you add your own touch to them, and different projects and products. Okay, let's take a look at this page here. This is page 32, and super cute, sweet citrus card here. Now, one of the things I really like, notice how the card layer is set off to the side. I am all for that. I very rarely will put things right in the center of the card. So for that one, I created a card that's going to be part of my Brayering Techniques class that registration's open for right now. If you're interested in learning some Brayering techniques, you can check out that link below. But this is the card I then created. So again, what I did here is I went ahead with that 3D embossing folder of our ferns and did that as a layer on the card, and then notice I have my panel here where I did my Brayering technique, and it is off to the side. I used a beautiful faux leather cord, which is beautiful, using my sentiments here that I die cut out, and then layered my panel there. So you can see it's similar to that layout, and that's where I got my inspiration for that. So just recently, in the past couple weeks, I've taken inspirations from the annual catalog, and I'm going to tell you that I have another inspiration, and that's what I'm going to be creating in my video today. So I'm going to turn to page 37. Now, I just love the Petal Park flowers. They are so cute. Can build all sorts of different flowers, different colors, and this has a punch that coordinates with it. But I'm looking at this card right here, the Love You card. What I like about this card, again, I love the colors, that light pink and then the darker pink. I think that's Melon Mambo, and that is Bubble Bath. But notice they have a panel over here, and then the sentiment is kind of slated over there. I really like that idea of that layout. And so I'm inspired by that layout today, and I'm going to share a card with you. So let's get started there. Okay. For the card I have today, I am using Calypso Coral, 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. I chose this color because it is part of the color combinations in the Flowering Zinnia Designer Series paper. It's a 12 by 12 pack. It is coming in March to customers in the online exclusive stores. Demonstrators could pre-order this month, but some of those things are out of stock, and so I'm just saying for customers in March. I have a 5 1/4 by 4 layer for the inside. I have a small strip of the Flowering Zinnia Designer Series paper. That's fun. I'll probably use this side to mimic the front. And then I have some things here. For my card, I wanted to have the card in the catalog, if you noticed, it had just a plain card base and then their layers. I always like to add a little bit more to that, and that's that idea on my other two cards as well. I added those embossed layers just to add more interest and more depth. So I'm going to have this right here. That again is a part, oh, look at how gorgeous that paper is. Wow. It's so bright and earthy. And oh, looks like I am using my liquid glue today, which is totally fine. My Stampin' seal was out. So there we are. We'll put this layer down on top of our base. And again, I like to do this to give a little bit more depth, a little more interest. You can also do that with any background stamps and stamp your own background on the base. That's totally fine. Then we had the layer that they had stamped the Petal Park just like so. And then I went ahead and I die cut out, instead of having just a square, I used the Thoughtful Expression dies that are found in the mini catalog. Those are the dies there, and I used the largest one right here, the Thoughtful Expression dies. And I went ahead and I did that. And then I have a beautiful couple of flowers here. What I did is I took one of the sheets of the 12 by 12 Flowering Zinnia Designer Series paper, and look at that beautiful Highland Heather on the back. Isn't that pretty, the plaid there? So I took and I just cut out a couple of the flowers that were arranged like this from the designer paper. Now think about that. Take your 12 by 12 papers that have the images that you can cut out, especially these beautiful flowers like this. You can stamp them and with the stamp set and color them and die cut them as well, but this is a great way to get a whole bunch of beautifully colored and designed flowers already done for you. So while you're watching some of those baseball spring games here at spring training, sit and take your scissors and your sheet and just cut out a whole bunch of these. Cut out the whole sheet and you've got all sorts of flowers ready to grab and go on your next project. So I have that as well that's going to come in here like so. And then I have my thank you. Now this I went ahead and used as part of the words that I die cut out for my brayering technique class that's coming up March 10th. And what's so great about these, they are the Thoughtful Moments Hybrid Embossing folder right here on page 18 in the mini catalog. You get so many sentiments as well as little rainbows and flowers that when you go ahead and emboss that and die cut them at the same time, you end up getting a whole slew of the words and images that you can then color however you like using your brayer. And it's awesome. You can have it for so many different projects. So this is what it's looking like. I'm trying to decide if I want to just bring this down even like this. I'm not sure that I want it all the way up there and then this down here. I think I really like it a little bit more balanced on the card. So that's my my way of taking that layout idea and just making it my own. So how many of us go to Pinterest at a regular basis looking for ideas and things like that? Well, this is just another way. Grab your Stampin' Up! Catalog, leaf through it, and find something that you really like and tag it for yourself like I did, and then you can use it for creating your cards and your projects. I'm just going to hold that for a second because it seems to want to be popping up on me. All right, there we go. Isn't that just so beautiful? That diagonal stripes, that's mossy meadow. So nice. Okay, let's get to our thank you here. I'm going to grab just a little paper so the ink doesn't get on my glass mat. And it's fine if it does, I just wipe it off, but all right. So I have Flirty Flamingo here. This is Stampin' Up's brayer. It has prongs at the bottom, so when you sit it down on the table, the roller doesn't get ink on your surface. When you go to ink up, you want to turn it around so the points go up, and then you just roll, and as you're rolling, you just can go back and forth to get your color. Now when you do this, this word has been embossed, and so it comes up a bit, but you want to be careful because it doesn't come up too much, and so if you run it too hard or put too much force or have way too much ink on your brayer, you can see by pushing down too much you get that little shadows and little bit of overrun, and I'm okay with that because I think that looks fun and earthy. So we've got that, and I like that I did the Flirty Flamingo. It's very close to the Calypso Coral, and you're saying, well, maybe that just is Calypso Coral. It's not. It just is very concentrated, and it does have a little bit more of a pink hue, and Calypso Coral has a little bit more orange. And that's just that different there. I'm going to keep that and get my inside, and I am going to stamp my sentiment. Words fail to express my gratitude or thank you so much. Since I have thank you on the outside, I'm going to use the gratitude stamp, which I think I already have it on a block. I do. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and ink it up with the Flirty Flamingo. And stamp it right here. I will use the same ink usually on the outside and the inside of my projects. I just think it looks a little bit more coordinated that way. Now I won't do that, of course, if it's something very light, because then it's a little hard to read. So we'll go ahead and put our strip down. I love adding a bit of Designer Series paper on the inside. It just adds a little bit more, and I like using my liquid glue because it allows me time to move it a little bit when I need to. Whoa. Slip sliding on me. There we go. One more little, and then it'll get to a point where it's like, I am not moving anymore. There we go. Words fail to express my gratitude. So we'll put that in on the inside, and then we'll finish the front of the card. Put a little bling, and we've got a fabulous card. And I love that I took that idea from the catalog, because then that work is done for me. That creative work of the layouts and cutting, how should I design my card? Because that layout was already there for me. Now I can just design with the products I'm using, which are these beautiful new ones. So I'm going to go ahead and put dimensionals on the back of the Nature's Sweetness dies. This label here that I did. Now, Stampin' Up! Has a new annual catalog that's coming out that is products available beginning in May. But in March, Stampin' Up! Does a service for demonstrators. It's called the Mailing Selector, and I can select people to mail the annual catalogs to. And these catalogs are filled with so many beautiful designs and layouts. Ooh, a little crookedy here, but I can pull those up a little bit. Because the designer series paper is a little bit, I don't want to say shiny, but a little more smooth, it allows you that ability to do a little bit of altering if you haven't pushed down too hard. So there we go. That's looking terrific. So if you do not have a demonstrator and you would like to get a hard copy of the annual catalog, the new one that's coming out for May, I have a link below and you can fill out the information, and I'm happy to send you a catalog. I'm just going to glue this, sorry. I'm happy to have Stampin' Up! Send you a catalog. Now, the catalog selector goes through March, and I have to have it finalized at the end of March. And then they ship them out right kind of that beginning of April, so you get some time to explore and see all the wonderfully designed projects that are there. And so if you have a demonstrator, you can reach out to that demonstrator and they will be happy to send you one. But if you do not, again, I am more than happy to send one out to you. It's so fun. Now, let me see how I want this to go. I think I had it going like this. I should have checked before here, you know what? I think I'm going to put that underneath. Lift these up a little bit and have these kind of poke down in a little bit. There we go. I like that. So I just need to lift a little bit. Tack a little bit of glue under here for those flowers, not a lot, just enough. And then you see these leaves that are coming over and they're kind of standing up there because the Calypso Coral die was raised with dimensionals. I'll want to put a bit of dimensionals underneath those. So grab one and put that up right under here for this one. And that's got it. And then grab a little one here. And I'll slip that up under this one. Right about there we go. And then this one right here does need as well. Might put one underneath that flower over there too, because you just don't want anything that just smooshes down. You want it all to be stable and level with each other. This one I'll just go right down here. Whoop, don't want that showing. There we go. And then yeah, I'm gonna put one more under there. Get one of these little guys. We don't need big full ones for under here, just a little so it's not gonna fold down on itself. There we are. So now those are all nice and solid. They're not sinking down. So there we are. Thank you. Words fail to express my gratitude. Let's go ahead and add a little sparkle. These are also part of the Flowering Zinnia suite of products. It is the Adhesive Back Shiny sequins. And they will also be available. Now, I love the green here. That is so cool. The yellow. Let me think about what I want to use. The green would really show up well, so I'm going to use the green here. This is a lemon lime twist color. And I'm using a little bit bigger ones here. And then I'll grab a little one, and the little one will come right here. So there we are. How pretty is that? So let me go ahead and show you again the card that I used as my inspiration. It was on page 37 in the annual catalog right here. There's the layout. And then here is my card inspired from that layout. You can see I have that panel, and then my Calypso Coral die cut piece is much larger than their Love You, but that's okay. That's the whole idea, is you take something that you've seen and that you really like, that you're inspired by, and create your own. And no one would ever know that those two cards came from the same idea, right? It's amazing. Just by putting different products together, you can have some great outcomes. So let's take a look. There was another one that I was inspired by a layout in the annual catalog, and that was part of my Brayering Techniques class that's coming up in March. And then here was another that was inspired by another layout in the annual catalog. So I hope you liked my project today. I hope you liked all these. If you want more information about my events and classes, the link's below. The Brayering Technique class is coming quick in March 10th, so registration ends on March 2nd for that. And again, I have a link below for the annual catalog that's coming up in May. If you would like to be on the mailing list to receive one of those, just fill out the form. I'm happy to do that. But again, if you have your own demonstrator, please reach out to them because I wouldn't want to step on anybody's toes. Let me know what you think of my card today, guys. And until next time, happy stampin'!